Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saviram Karvavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vidvishavai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So yesterday we were discussing the topic of Samadhi. Samadhi was basically divided into two stages. The first stage of Samadhi is when you become consciously aware of the fundamental facts. Become aware of them. You retain your awareness. You make your awareness valid, factual. Till now my awareness was based on imagination. My awareness regarding myself, my awareness regarding the world, the joy, the source of happiness, sorrow. We were very serious in our life, no doubt, everybody is. But somehow the problem continues. It's a never-ending problem. When you try to solve an imaginary problem, then of course the consequences inevitable, predictable, then the problem shall continue. Really speaking, the problem is not there. I first of all see a problem and I'm then giving my heart and soul to solve the problem. In case if the snake is not there, then how can I try to remove it? First of all, I see the snake. The snake comes to get an existence because of my perception, my conditionings. And once the snake gets an existence, thereafter, I'm taking resort to various means that how should I get rid of this fellow? And the fellow is not there. But that is exactly the nature of problem. So it is not about trying to solve the problem, it is about trying to appreciate what is the nature of problem and subsequently discover that there is no problem. That is the astounding, nature of our diagnosis, that there is no problem. First of all, I don't believe that, because I was having a terrible problem. But then that is it. This is what the fact is discovered. So the nature of meditation and the nature of Samadhi is not to go around solve the problem. The nature of meditation is to discover that how come there is no problem. I don't have a problem. Until now I was saying I have a big problem. So quite a different approach. And if at all it is true, and the whole life has been a big joke, I've been on wrong track altogether. My train was moving all right, but it was moving in the wrong direction. It's very hard to believe because my whole life has been based on the supposition that the problem is there. That I am a limited individual, that I am a small person, that I am born and I shall die. I get old, I get diseased. This is the I. Now all those people who have really gone deep into the secret of life, they say the problem lies only here. It is our perception about ourselves because of which all the subsequent problems, they come, the doors are opened as though, and there are problem galore. There's no end to problem. We all have done our best to solve the problems of life. Even though so many things have been taken care of, yet the fundamental problem, it continues to exist. We still have insecurities, we still have aspirations, we still have desires to fulfill. We still have so many things to organize in life. And without, organizing all those things, my life, will not be complete. I know that. So here is a very different approach, a different proposition. He says, well, please investigate. With an open mind, with an unconditioned mind, I'm telling you something very different. And that is that neither you are limited, nor you are an individual, nor you have any problems. You are something divine. You are very beautiful. You are infinite, you are complete. And isn't this completeness we aspire for when we are taking a resort to all kind of medicines? We first of all believe that we are sick and therefore we are taking medicines, and then thereafter we shall become healthy once again. In case if I'm really susceptible to become sick, then I shall again become sick later on. But the truth which is being revealed over here is that, really speaking, you are something which is incorrigible, uncorrupted, untainted, unaffected by anything. Please believe me, and please explore this. Nobody is telling me this. It's only the Vedantic masters who are unanimously saying this. Not in one place, but in hundreds of places. That is the basis of all our religion or our philosophy. That is the basis of this culture itself. Every person is fundamentally divine, is complete. Not knowing this fact, we first of all imagine ourselves to be limited, and thereafter we get in the rut, endless rut. And that is the tragedy, it is endless, it's never solving. Then we wonder, well, that may be right. My whole approach is somehow, somewhere, it is not correct. And the whole process, my life is going to end now. And still I prefer to believe all those stupid people who tell me you are sick, you are a problem. Why should I believe all those people who say you are a problem? Why not believe people who say, no, you are healthy, you are fine, and fundamentally, deep down, everything is fine. It's only something superficial. And that superficial is just our avivek. And therefore, we take resort to this Vivek, Drg-Dryshya Viveka. So the first component of this meditation was start from this Drg-Dryshya Viveka. See very clearly that the seen is always different from the seer. And you can detach yourself from the seen. If you are really aware of the seer, you see the seer properly, you become conscious of the seer properly, then this fact will become very, very evident that the seer is not affected by anything which is seen, unless I am very emotionally involved in that. In that case also, I am not really substantially affected, but affected only in my mind. So, seer is always standing apart. And once you dissociate the seer from the various seen, once I dissociate the self from the not-self, Atma from Anatma, the conscious from the inert, then after, what is required is very deep exploration, investigation, let us say meditation. Meditation is to appreciate the truth of something. Meditation is not about being quiet. Quietude is just like sleep. It is refreshing, no doubt. It is rejuvenating. There is no big deal about it that whenever the mind is quiet, you will be refreshed, recharged, rejuvenated. But that is not the objective, that I get charged and again get discharged and then get recharged. Again, I am ready to be discharged now. My day starts with a recharged battery and by the end of the day I am discharged. Is that the real meditation? What's so big deal about meditation, which I can anyway get the same results from a good sleep? Better, do sadhana for good sleep rather than meditation. Meditation cannot be mere temporary effacement of problems, forgetting of the problems. Meditation is the deep solution. Meditation is all about awakening. You become Buddha, enlightened. Bhranti Janyat Adatma is removed by Prabodhat, by Prabodh. Remember those shlokas at the beginning? So what we have to become is enlightened. Enlightened about whom? Enlightened about the seer who has seen everything, but nobody has seen this fellow as an object. Don't worry, you need not see everything as an object. The beauty of human intellect is that even the subject which is illumining all the objects all the time, without any necessity of its objectification, I can appreciate the truth of that by various means. First of all, by observation itself, so many things are revealed. I appreciate that whatever is this consciousness is revealing all the time. There is no fluctuation in consciousness. There is no coming and going in consciousness. This is a big deal. You are never coming and going. You are conscious of everything all the time, and you are conscious. You are consciousness. This is my reality. This is my truth. So this is how we start getting the knowledge of consciousness. And thereafter, the real pramana for this self-knowledge is called the words of wise people. So many people, they are pointing it out, and this knowledge has come down from God Himself. God has revealed all these things. So this Pramana Shastra, the Shastras, they reveal that, the Sakshi, Asanga, Satchidananda, Saprabho, Dvaita Varjita, these kind of words. They're enlightening words, very revealing words. Look at this Sakshi, this fellow is revealing all the time and he's so detached. You see happiness at one moment and the sorrow at another moment. You are seeing sorrow and again, the scene changes and you are top of the world. Has this Sakshi got tainted by these experiences? Does the screen get tainted by any projections? It's not tainted. I see the blue sky and then the red sky and then the black sky. And again morning the sky is blue once again. And again it's red. Again it's purple and so many things. When you are seeing something changing colors, you know that fundamentally it's not changing colors. You've seen the Sphatic Shivlinga? Sphatic is a stone like a glass, transparent. And it's not glass, it's stone. And the characteristics about that Sphatic, there are so many mandirs, where they have shivling made of glass. It's very interesting to see that. Whatever flower you keep on that shivling, it gets colored with that glass, with that color. Suppose you keep, Bilva Bhadra green, so there is that greenness in the whole shivling. And then you put the white flower, and my Lord Shiva is white now. And thereafter you take the next flower, Swamiji is chanting the names, Namah, Namah, I'm doing the Archana, and you put the red flower, and Shivji changes color. Is this Shivji or is this chameleon? Changing colors. Shivji, you are also changing colors. Well, I appear to change colors. My changing colors itself reveals that I am not affected by any colors. Otherwise, how could you, become red, green, blue in a moment and next moment it's not there? Remember holy time? Some people come, and put colors on your face, on your hands and everything. In order to get rid of the colors, what all we have to go through? And in case if there's paint or something like that, then you're added. Ragado the kerosene also on your face and the paint remover, all those chemicals, then they come out. Changing one color to another color, we know what we have to go through. And here you have Lord Shiva changing colors in a whiff of a moment. Obviously, the knowledge which we get from this experience is that Lord Shiva is colorless. And when you see the sky, it is changing so many colors. The knowledge you get that sky has no colors. We think, it's quite modern science, but it's not. Thousands of years back, the master said that sky has no colors because it's changing colors. How can the sky become blue at one moment and black at another moment without going through all this washing? It's not going through any process of changing the color. Washing off the earlier color and then donning up the new color. So the fact is, it's colorless. And people who go to space, they see a sky, it's not blue. There's not blue color. It's completely dark there. In this space, the space around is not lighted, neither it's blue. It's completely dark. It's night all the time, and in that dark sky you find, some star here, some planet there, and some this thing there. It doesn't have any color. This is basic science. We see the sky and we think that sky is blue. We know that you are a child. You are not yet aware of the truth of sky. Sky doesn't have any color. So these are the examples which are given for the knowledge of self. Just as the sky doesn't have any colors, just as the sky is untainted, just as the sky is asanga, so also Asanga Satchidananda Swaprabhu Dvaita Varjita. Well, my dear friend, you are Asanga. Your truth, because of the fact that at one moment you are happy and the other moment you are not happy, how quickly you change colors. One moment you are top of the world, another moment you are deep down in the gorge, down in the valley, tumbling and tumbling. Obviously, these things are not happening to you. And when you are down, next moment you find that you are top of the world, flying up in the sky. Anything which changes colors, really speaking, is changeless. It apparently appears to change colors, is not affected by any change. So I am a Sangha. I am untouched by anything. See this fact. This is meditation. To appreciate the truth of yourself is meditation. I am constantly there. I am of the nature of Sat, pure existence. That is your identity. So Prabha, I am self-effulgent. I don't need any light to reveal myself. Look at the truth of yourself. Isn't that so? Having dissociated the Sakshi from all the seen, this is how we go deep into the Sakshi, deep into the truth of Sakshi. So these are the words. The word of the scriptures, the word of God, word of enlightened masters who reveal the truth of ourselves. And in this way, having appreciated the truth of yourself, just see the transformation. It is the appreciation of yourself being complete, being untainted. There are no problems. Problems, how come they came? Because I was small, I was insecure, I was limited. I was perishable commodity. And therefore anything which is coming to perish me, I start getting insecure. It was that identity which was the cause of problem. So even if you take baby steps in the right direction, you progress. If you keep on running in the wrong direction, even though you are running, but it's not progress. So take small steps in right direction. Start appreciating this fact that, my perception, my identity was incorrect. It was superficial. Did I ever imagine that I was consciousness? Did I ever imagine that I am untainted Asanga? But slight investigation into that direction makes all these things a very logical proposition. Sensible things. We just never saw from that angle. So in this way, when you see these facts, when you appreciate these facts, when you live these facts, this is your identity, this is you. And thereafter, there is profound, relief of all the problems. There is profound security, fulfillment, achievement. You have attained that which you were trying to attain all the time. Security, fulfillment, peace, bliss. And revel in that bliss. And thereafter you need not do Drg-Dryshya Viveka at this stage because it's already fulfilled now. You need not even take resort to any words because you have got an insight about yourself. Thereafter, just be that. Assimilate your reality. And there is thereafter an awareness, effortless awareness of being yourself, being your true self, as revealed by these scriptures. The world tells me I am a small fellow. The scriptures tell me that we are divine. Now it's upon us to believe. Whom should we believe? So in this way, this was the first stage of Samadhi, wherein Antar Samadhi. This is called Antar Samadhi because you started inside by looking at the Drishta and Drishya in your mind. You started with the mind and its Sakshi. So when I start doing my meditation, I look at my mind, whatever may be the thoughts. Learn to be an observer of the thoughts, a non-reactive observer, an uninvolved observer. To the extent you can remain uninvolved, non-reactive observer, and this is a sadhana, this is a siddhi, this is a great achievement. It's a capacity you need to polish nicely. Observe your mind, whatever may the problems and something good or bad, all these are conditioned responses. Because I had my likes for this and dislikes for that, and therefore certain thoughts are good, certain thoughts are not good. See the truth of all these things and just observe. And thereafter, once you can learn to observe something without any reaction. There'll be good and there'll be bad in the world. There'll be moments when everything will be very nice, and there'll be moments when things will be bad. No reaction. No helpless mechanical reaction. Do what you consider proper, very thoughtfully. So we have an option of just mechanically responding as per our conditionings, and we also have an option of thoughtfully thinking and thereafter doing what is necessary. In case if we can stand in the no man's land and then observe your own mind, observe your own life, that is what is meant by being Sakshi. Sakshi is the guy who was standing on the side of the road when the accident happened. And the police got him. Oh, were you standing? Yes, I saw the whole accident. Okay, now you also please come to the court. Now you'll have to give your, statement that I was the witness. And that is why most of the time people say, no, I was just looking at the skies, I was looking at the birds. I didn't see any, because who's going to go court? And your court cases hang on for years together. In the ashram, we had an old man, and he was around 80 years. So one day, that gentleman called a rickshaw. He says, Guruji, I've got to go to the court. A court? How come you're going to the court? You're a fine fellow and you're not going around, not doing anything bad. Well, no, I've not done anything bad. But I've got to go to the court. So he says, years back, when I was in my job, at that time some problem occurred in my office. I was the witness to all that problem. Still the case is lingering on. Whenever the date is there for the case, I've got to go there. The witness has to be present. And the irony is that I've got to take an auto rickshaw myself, spend my own money, and then go to the court. The one who is caught, who is the culprit, he comes in government's vehicle with 5 fellows around him, and he's got a room, he's got food, everything, but it's just called a jail. So that fellow comes protected without spending any money. I have got to spend money and go to the court. I'm so sorry I said that. I saw the whole problem. I was a witness to the problem. And that is why people, they don't like, being taken as a witness. And therefore all kind of excuses. But really speaking, a witness is someone who was an uninvolved observer. Can we remain an uninvolved observer? Whenever any beautiful dreams come, our face also changes. The emotions affect so drastically that what to talk of, the mind, it percolates down to the grossest level, and the charm and the shine is seen in the eyes and in the face. We get affected by that. And in case if you get affected by good things, then be ready to get affected by all the problems also, the terrible things. The fundamental issue is that here is a seer who is influenced by the seen. He cannot remain detached and observe. Nobody is saying that you run away from the problem, but just have the Sakshi Bhav. Just polish this capacity to be an uninvolved, objective observer of your own mind, as though it's not happening to you. Look at your mind as a third person. The third person is always detached from your problems. And when it's my problem, then I'm involved in that. So this is the first capacity which we need to polish. And once you have this capacity that you can stand apart from your own mind and observe your mind, that is not the end, that's just the beginning. In most of the places they say that, well, you are now a blessed person, you can stand aside, you can become a Sakshi. As the Sakshi is the be-all and end-all of all my sadhana, he says, no, this is just the first step. And thereafter, going deeper into the truth of Sakshi is the next stage. And once you go deeper into that, you discover Sakshi is not a fragmented entity standing apart from the object of experiences. It's embracing everything. Sakshi is so complete. It's pure existence. It's unfragmented. It's non-dual. So you transcend all duality when you go deep into the truth of Sakshi. You are not a limited observer. So that is the extent of transformation with this knowledge. So this was the first level of the sadhana. Now we enter the second stage of the sadhana, which is that now you can open your eyes. You need not look at your thoughts and be it Sakshi. It's very important that you also get this Viveka, an enlightened perception about truth of life, even while keeping your eyes open. So there's a meditation, open eyes meditation. This was the earlier one was closed eyes meditation, and now this is the open-eyed meditation. In this open-eyed meditation, you can start with a cup of tea in your hand, sitting in your balcony, having lovely trees and your hanging garden around. Look at the sky, look at the birds, look at the flowers, look at the trees, look at the people. So this is how we start the Brahma Sarga Viveka. So let us first read that. Hridiva Bhaya Deshepi Yasmin Kasminscha vastuni
Yasmin kasmishcha vastuni
Samadhiradya sanmatrat
Samadhiradya sanmatrat
Nama Rupa Prathakriti
Nama Rupa Prathakriti
Akhandaikarasamvastu
Akhandaikarasamvastu
Satchidanandalakshanam
Satchidanandalakshanam
Ityavachinna chinteyam
Ityavachinna chinteyam
Samadhir madhyamo bhavet
Samadhir madhyamo bhavet
Stabdhi bhavo rasasvadat
Stabdhi bhavo rasasvadat
Tritiyam purvavanmataha
Tritiyam purvavanmataha
Etair samadhibhih षड्भिः
Etai samadhibhih षड्भिः
Nayet kalam nirantaram.
Nayet kalam nirantaram.
If you remember, the earlier meditation was basically in 3 stages. What were the 3 stages? First of all, Drg-Dryshya Viveka, seeing the 2 entities, separating them and seeing the facts. Drishta and Drishya. Drishta is different from the seen. That was stage number 1. And we call that as Drishyanovidya Savikalp Samadhi. The second one was having dissociated the Sakshi from all the seen. You go deep into the truth of Sakshi using various lakshanas and pointers of the scriptures and thus get a better insight into the truth of Sakshi. This is the real enlightening stage. The real transformation happens here. Earlier one was simple dissociation. Dissociating yourself from all the seen. Having separated the Sakshi, the seer, from the seen, then you realize its reality. The scriptural statements are the most revealing, mind-boggling reality. And thereafter it is just being that, assimilating that effortlessly. Till the time it is an effortless abidance, I keep on reveling in that. In later stages of meditation, there are no efforts. It is just being yourself. So these were the 3 stages. He says when you start doing Brahma Sarga Vivek, here also there are 3 stages. The first stage is that, the 2 components, they are mixed up. Which are the 2 components when we look at the world? The first component is the fundamental material, the Upadana, the Satchidananda. And the second component is its manifestation in different forms. So let us call these 2 as a Nama Rupa is the first component, and the second component is its Atma, the truth. The changeless reality which is pervading everything in the creation. So these are the 2 components. So here also the first stage will be separate these 2 components. Just as earlier you separated the Drg and Drishya, here you separate in your mind itself that this is all what is the domain of form. It is this aspect which came into existence. It is this aspect which, because of which the things become an object of my experience, of my especially sense organs. They become perceptible. This is the role and work of the Vikshep Shakti of Maya. Maya, she brings about different names and forms, very artistic, very beautiful, very creative, very amazing. So this component of the form is there. And in and through the form there is some substance, there is some reality. Just as water is to wave, so also the content of everything is that pure existence. Existence alone is pervading everything. If you just look at the existence, it's an ocean of existence all over. Front, everything is existing. Back, everything is existing. Left, right, everything is existing. Up and down, it's all existence, existence. This is, I am. Asti, asti, hai, ye bhi hai, ye bhi hai, ye bhi hai. The hai part is the existence because there is an ocean of existence. So separate, have the capacity, polish this capacity in your own mind to separate the form and the content. They are separate. The existence is not being affected, just as the water is not affected. When the wave is growing, water is not going. When the wave is decaying, the water is not decaying. When the wave is born, then the water is not born. And the wave one day disappears. The water does not disappear. So these are two things, they are world apart. And therefore, just see the truth of these things. It's a very important vivek to have in ourselves. We learn to look at the world in such a way that everywhere I'm never deceived by the form in which it is presented. I saw, a TV show once in which what they did was they took the lips and the eyes of some few famous actors and actresses. Just the lips and the eyes separately. So they had, let us say 4 lips and the 4 eyes. And thereafter they jumbled the eyes and the lips. The photographs of the lips and the photographs of the eyes, they jumbled. And thereafter they asked somebody that, now you put, eyes on the top of lips, 4 lips and the 4 eyes. Now can somebody tell me that whose lips are these and whose eyes are that? And you'll be surprised that there were so Brahma Gyanis there. Immediately the hands rose. These are the lips of that actor and this actress. The moment you see the eyes, you know behind these eyes is that actor. Children even have that vivek. They are not deceived by the form. Let my, the pet actor, my favorite actor, come in any form. He comes in the form of a beggar. I know, this, you have come, I'm your fan, Oh God, I'll never be deceived by your forms. I'll discover you in any form. I'll see through these forms and I'll see you. Amazing. Amazing vivek. You keep the lips and eyes of your near and dear ones and see whether you can get the hang of it. This is my mother. And that is my father. And this one, that crooked lips, that's my sister. And this one, the arrogant one, that's my brother. I know, I've been seeing them. You come, you jumble the whole thing up and I'll discover. When these children, they can see through these forms and discover the person behind, why can't we see the different forms and discover our own God? The pure infinite existence. So the first stage is separation, vivek, dissociation of the name and form component from that substance component. The Atma of all the names and forms. Just as the water is to wave, the gold is to ornament, the mud is to pots, so also Satchidananda is to the various objects. Existence everywhere. Just see the existence part. Forget about everything else. Not Satchidananda, only Sat will do. Just see the fact that existence has taken up this form. Existence is blessing every cell of this entity, every iota of this particular manifestation. So this is stage number 1. Hridiva bahya deshepi yasmin kasminscha vastuni. Hridiva means just as you did the meditation inside your mind, closing your eyes. With reference to Drg-Dryshya, so bahya deshepi, all these external objects. You can take up anything for that matter. Yasmin kasminscha vastuni. Yasmin kasmin means anything will be alright. I don't ask the question, can I take the flower? Can I take my Bhagwan? Can I take Lord Shiva? In order to keep all these questions at bay and keep them at rest, Yasmin kasmin, that is your freedom. Take anything which is available right in front of you. And thereafter, Samadhi, Adya, the first stage of Samadhi, which is dissociation of two apparently mixed up things. The name and form from its content. And here it is, Sanmatra Nama Rupa Prathakriti. Sanmatra means pure existence. Satmatra is Sanmatra. Satmatra, Sat is pure existence. So this pure existence, separate this pure existence, which is the Upadan, which is the very content, which is the Atma, which is blessing everything in the creation, from its Nama Rupa. So it has manifestation, and we've also given a name. And Nama Rupa, we know how terrible conditioning factors these are. God forbid if your form changes and I'm disfigured, what a terrible tragedy I'll consider it to be. Form is so important to me. And suppose somebody plays with my name, so to hell with you, whoever you are. How dare you pronounce my name in such a way? Take my name respectfully. So name is such an important thing. Name and form, these two things, they're so important to me. So they have an existence, but they're always blessed by existence. Separate these two. This is stage number 1 in the Brahma Sarga Vivek. The next stage, having separated the name and form and the existence, turn your attention towards existence. And again, with the help of the scriptures, get a deeper insight into the truth of this existence. This existence, which is blessing everything perceptible in the world, is basically not merely existence alone. It is, a divine existence. It is self-revealing existence. It is blissful existence. When you discover that this existence is self-revealing, then it is called a chit. Anything which is self-revealing is indicated by the word chit. And it is not merely a self-revealing conscious existence, but it is blissful existence also. Go deep into every word and discover the truth of that. Take your own time. This is the meditation. This deeper insight into the truth of everything which is there in the world. Having, taken up one form, see the same thing in another form, and the third form, and thereafter slowly when you look at the whole world is just being pervaded by one divinity which is expressing, which has as though taken up infinite forms. Now with this kind of knowledge, when you look at the world, the God is never hidden in from your eyes. This is what is called as the opening of the third eye, your Gyan Chakshu. When the names and forms, they cannot veil the substratum, the essence, this is what is an enlightened perception. Inside, when you are looking at the thoughts, you are never, forgetful of the truth of seer. That is enlightened perception at that stage. Whatever may be the kind of situation and problem, thoughts or emotion, fine, no problems. But I am the seer, and seers of this nature, seer is Sakshi, seer is pure consciousness, seer is infinite consciousness, seer is imperishable, immutable, infinite consciousness. You remember this and thereafter see anything, that is enlightened perception. So also when you are seeing outside, you see different names and forms. Certain forms they are being born and certain forms they are maybe dying also. In case if you are seeing the truth of these forms, you are an enlightened person. You know that birth and death, they are such a superficial things. The reality is not tainted at all, is not affected at all. Just like space is not affected in case if the potter creates some pots or destroys some pots. Does anything happen to the space? Does anything happen to the water when the waves come and go? So also the pure existence, which is the truth of every manifestation. The reality of every person in the world remains unchanged, whether they become an object of my knowledge or they do not become an object of my knowledge. They are no more an object of my knowledge. So this is the second level. Akhanda ekarasam vastu satchidananda lakshanam. These are some special pointers to go deeper into the truth of existence, which you have separated from different names and forms. Number one is Akhanda. See the beautiful word. The moment my attention is there on the forms, then everything gets fragmented. They're broken into pieces. Because everything is different. One form is different from the other form. So the consequence of taking this superficial aspect of the name and form, those which are created by Maya, the consequence is that the whole world is fragmented. And the other consequence, the moment I turn my attention towards the reality, is an unfragmented world. That is what is called as Akhanda. Akhanda Ekarasam. It is unfragmented. There is no khanda. There is no division from existence point of view. It is ekarasa. It is same in everything. The existence which is there in me is the existence which is there in you. The existence which is there in you is the same existence which is there in Lord Shiva, in the sun, in the moon, in the stars, in the trees, in the birds, in the animals. It is same existence. Existence is eka rasa. Same rasa here and same rasa there, undiluted. Look at the significance and effect of this knowledge, this deeper appreciation. And it is not merely a khanda and eka rasa, it is pure life. Sat is chit and chit is sat. So these are not really different. They are one and the same thing, and it is blissful also. So all over the world you are seeing pervasive, all-pervasive reality. The superficial perceptions were revealing only perishable things, changing things. And now a deeper insight is revealing a divine world. In Ramayana there is a chaupai that Siya Ram mein sab jag jani, karo pranam jori jori pani. Enlightened Master has seen the world. He says, everywhere it is my Ram alone. And I very reverentially look upon everything in the world. They are seeing this truth. And we'll also see the truth if you get that insight. So this is the second level of meditation. Iti avachinna chinteyam, this unbroken awareness. When you are blessed by this effortless, unbroken awareness, then you have crossed the stage 2. Samadhi madhyamo bhavet. This is the second kind of stage, where you have got a deeper insight into the truth. Earlier it was deeper insight into the Sakshi, and here it is deeper insight into the existence, which is blessing everything in the world. And once you see that everything is this basic reality of the nature of Satchidananda, and you can also retain your awareness all the time, and thereafter you realize, I am that. I've been, discovering, appreciating that when I was doing Drg-Dryshya Viveka, when I was going into the truth of Sakshi, I discovered that I am of the nature of Satchidananda. And everything is Satchidananda. So I am everything. So that small individual, it dissolves and becomes everything. I am everything. I am the self of everyone. Now what a transformation. What an amazing knowledge. What an awakening. This is enlightened perception. Once you see that yourself is the self of all, revel in that knowledge. It's not a small promotion to give a party to your friends and relatives. I got promoted. I am this now. What kind of celebration you are going to do now? It becomes such a big, all-embracing reality. He says, don't worry, everybody is that. So you need not call others, I have a party because they're also that. Whom should I call? It's a revel in that being. Assimilate your new identity. And I won't have any words to tell you. You experience that yourself. And when you are, really dumbfounded in that, amazing realization, stabdi bhavo rasa swadat, when you are completely amazed and thereafter assimilate. Once you assimilate, then there is no amazement as such, but amazing bliss of being complete, of being free from all life and death, birth and death. This is the real you, this is the real me, and this is the truth of everything for that matter. When there is effortless abidance in this reality, that is stage 3. This is the Tritiyam Purvavat, just as the earlier one. It culminated into Nirvikalpa. Here also, effortless awareness is called Nirvikalpa. Awareness is there, but now you don't have to put efforts. You have practiced it so nicely. This knowledge has become so clear. Then it is an Nirvikalpa stage. So 3 levels, the first, the 3 levels in the second. In all, thus there are 6 levels, the 3 while doing Drg-Dryshya and the 3 while doing the Brahmasaya. Now what he suggests is, etaihi samadhibihi shadbhi. These 6, stages, nayet kalam nirantaram, may you pass your time only in this. May you always revel only in this. Take to these meditation. Nirantaram, till the time you become one with that. So in this way, the story which started from Drg-Dryshya, it has culminated into an unfragmented non-dual reality as myself. I am embracing all the Drishya. I am embracing all the names and forms. I have woken up from the dream. Once you wake up from the dream, then what happens? While dreaming, you are in the dream. Once you wake up, the dream is in you. It was a figment of your imagination. It was a wave in my mind. Everything was in me. So also, the people, masters who wake up to their reality, the whole world is in you. And thereafter it's just like a dream. A person who has woken up from this dream. Let him continue to see the dream, no problem. So in this way, these people are the Viveki people, the enlightened ones, the free ones, the liberated ones. Liberation is not because of acquisition of objects and wealth and gratifications of various kind of pleasures. That is all based on, wrong perception about yourself and also the world. It's a superficial appreciation of life. It is childish. This is the truth. So, Nayet Kalam Nirantaram, revel in this truth all the time. This is sensible. This is more respectable. You are respected like nobody has respected you till now. You are now so big, so beautiful, so complete. Okay, sir, I appreciate now. What happens when, I assimilate this knowledge? So the last two shlokas reveal what is called as the lakshanas of the enlightened ones, the phala of this knowledge. Deha bhimane galite,
Deha bhimane galite,
Vigyate paramatmani,
Vigyate paramatmani,
Yatra yatra mano yati,
Yatra yatra mano yati,
Tatra tatra samadhaya,
Tatra tatra samadhaya,
Vidyate hridaya granthi,
Vidyate hridaya granthi,
Chidyante sarva samshaya,
Chidyante sarva sanshaya,
Kshiyante chasya karmani,
Kshiyante chasya karmani,
Tasmin drishte paravare.
Tasmin drishte paravare.
So he says, when you practice this meditation, when you realize the truth of this text, then what happens? That you are no more this limited form. The insight you get after this knowledge is the realization that I am not this body-mind complex. This body-mind complex is a beautiful, blessed manifestation by the creative power of God called Maya. And in case if you can see this fact that it's not anymore the creative power of God. It is your power. Because you are that now. Think about it. I cannot keep on saying it is God's Maya. Have you have realized God, my dear friend? You have realized Satchidananda as your own self. Not dare to say that it is yours, Maya Shakti. You have got this beautiful creative Shakti. You can create any names and forms. You've been creating so many dreams. How many dreams you have created till now? Every dream is a world of its own. And all the people and all the object and all the wealth and all the pleasures. You create like Brahmaji, you sustain like Vishnuji, and you dissolve everything like Rudra every day. Terrible fellow. Huh? And still you are remaining untainted. Realize the truth of yourself. That you are that. And thereafter you have this creative power because of which all these things were created. The only thing is, I had the creative power, I created and then got deluded myself. I got deluded by my own projections and creations, and nobody told me also. In fact, nobody need to tell you. It's your problems. But yet, I was not enlightened about these truths. So because, I created a form, because of my own karmas, I had to take up a form, I had to take up a body. And thereafter I got so attached to the body just because I didn't know the truth of myself. This limited manifestation was my truth. I am this. The foundation of my life was this delusory perception that I am only this limited manifestation. And once, I was taking that, I identified it so thoroughly that whatever is happening to the body is happening to me. This is just as you had that strong abhiman. Abhiman is identification. Just as you had the strong identification with the body, and thereafter you started taking yourself to the body. That identification which culminates into identity, that is called as abhiman. Today my identity is that I am this body-mind complex. So this is the result of first there was ignorance, and then there was projection, and thereafter identification, and identification to such an extent that I am this. This is my story. This is all right. I'll take this identification with the body as the test case. Just as you have such a strong identification with the body, it's effortless now. It is so deep that even when I have to dream, then I have to dream with this body notion. Don't we have dreams in the dream state by being this body-mind complex? There also I may be having slightly different body-mind. But what an amazing identification that even the dreams are, based on myself being this body-mind complex. So this is an example of strong, effortless identification. And the extent of that effortless is so profound that you don't have to, even think that you are this body. Do you start your day, when you have to go to work? Do you meditate, for some time? I am this body, I am wielding up this body now, just as I don certain clothes, I am donning up this body, and thereafter I go to work. Let me meditate properly. Otherwise I may forget that I am this body, It never happens. What a beautiful, amazing identification you have. It's the height of identification, culminating into identity. That I am this body. He says, keep this as a test case. And now when you slowly start the process of the discovery of yourself, always remember this body identification. Your knowledge also has to become as effortless as this body identification. Till the time, you start taking yourself as I am that non-dual infinite Satchidananda, as effortlessly as it is today. Come to think of it, this is untrue. even that which is not the truth, you can have an amazing identification and an identity through this body-mind complex. Who tells you that you cannot do it for the truth? If you can do for the untruth, you can certainly do the same thing for the truth. You are capable. You are already a siddha. A person who has this capacity to identify to such an extent that you make this your identity. So try the same process which you have gone through with this body regarding your own truth now. You have to appreciate very, very effortlessly. Once in a while when you are studying at that time, I am Brahman, I am the consciousness, I am Sakshi, that's not enough. Only in convenience and in your comfort zone you are Brahman. Outside comfort zone you are a devil. The same old fellow. So therefore people, they don't come out of their comfort zone. Comfort zone is a terrible thing, In case you get hooked on to your comfort zone, you become a static person. It will be status quo thereafter. There won't be any growth. Nothing grows in the comfort zone, by the way. In comfort zone, it is so comfortable, there is no coming and going. It's such a conditioned, controlled environment. Nothing new can happen there. Because the moment anything new comes, I am uncomfortable. Even when you get a guest in your house, you are uncomfortable. Kab jayega? In case if you are, hooked on to comfort zone. आते हाँ भाई कब का रिजर्वेशन you know that I'm disturbing the comfort zone. जाने की पहली बात पूछ रहा है अभी तो आए हैं अभी तो कोई इरादा नहीं जाने का ओके अच्छा आप ही का करे रो comfort zone is a terrible place, and today getting hooked on to this body mind has become my comfort zone. Now you'll have to shake yourself. This is wrong. It's terrible. It's going to bring a lot of problems. It's anyway bringing problems. Anything wrong with the body is my problem today. I've got this disease, I've got that problem, I've got this old age, I'm decaying now. What the hell? You are not decaying. You don't have any problem. No, you won't understand. In case if you get, then you'll understand the problem. Nobody understands my pain and my problem. I'm so all alone in life. I've got to deal with my problem. Well, you have no problem. So I'm having problem in my comfort zone, yet I hang on to this comfort zone. See, you'll have to shake yourself up. You will have to dissociate from this body-mind complex. See that you are the seer, and the seer is so amazing, divine, Khanda, Ananda. Redeem yourself. Liberate yourself from these limitations, self-imposed limitations, and directly appreciate that which is the Paramatma, the self of all. Jivatma is Paramatma, but I never knew that. I was taking myself only to be this Jivatma. It was a baseless imaginary notion, nothing factual about it. Just a figment of my imagination. So inquire that. I have done that. I have got entangled in my own imagination, and I alone have to disentangle myself, redeem myself, liberate myself, and realize the truth of myself, that I am that. Initially it will be once in a while, still continue with that. How long should I continue? Till the time you attain the same effortless abidance as you have in your body today. And when your assimilation of this knowledge is so effortless, as you are having your identification with the body, then you know what happens? Then alone the body identification drops. The body identification will continue to be there till the time this new identity also becomes as clear, evident and effortless. It is then alone this is negatable. It disappears. It can disappear, you should believe that. But obviously it disappears when you have a better identity. And what can be better than this? So when you have the direct realization of the Paramatma, your complete infinite Atma, the non-dual Atma, the Sarvatma, Deha Vimane Galite Vigyate Paramatmani. What a beautiful statement. That when Paramatmani Vigyate Sati, when you have realized, direct realization is called Vigyan. This Vigyan word, which is used by scientists today, is a borrowed word from our scriptures. But none of these scientists were around at that time. Thousands of years back, this word has been used for some different objective. And the meaning of this word is direct realization. So there is one knowledge which is called as Paroksha Gyan, and another knowledge is called as Aparoksha Gyan. Gyan and Vigyan. The Gyan is intellectual appreciation. Vigyan is direct appreciation. When you have direct, immediate appreciation, it's not, something which is hearsay. Scriptures are saying, and my guru is saying, and this fellow is saying, that fellow is saying. This is a Gyan. Fine, good. You are blessed enough to hear all these things. But then it has to transform into Vigyan. It's not that somebody is saying, I see this myself. Seeing the truth yourself is called Vigyan. So Vigyate Paramatmani, when you have directly appreciated and seen this truth, then Deha Vimane Galite. So Deha Viman, it dissolves. Galite, Hindi also has this word, Galgya. So Deha Viman Gal ke Kadam ho gaya. Galite dissolves. There is no Deha Viman. Thereafter you are not this body. You can take care of the body, you can handle the body, but yet you are not the body. Body becomes like a costume. It's like a name and form projected on a screen. The screen which is not being affected at all by any projections. And you have an awareness of that infinite reality all the time. And thereafter what you need to do? You don't need to do anything. And can I interact with the world? Can I go and talk to somebody and do this, do that? He said, let your mind go anywhere. Now you've got this knack. You see any drishya, yet you are aware of the drishta. You see any form, you are aware of the truth of its Atma. wherever the mind goes, you're always reveling in that reality, that I am that. Yatra yatra manoyati tatra tatra samadhaya. Your samadhi is never broken even if there are thoughts. Do I stop becoming a drishta in case if there is some drishya? Do I stop becoming a sakshi when I see some thought? Not really. I can become conscious. I can remain conscious that I am a sakshi all the time. Let there be any scene. Do I forget that I am a seer sitting in the auditorium and watching a movie? While watching a movie? Well, it all depends. If I just want to get swept away and see the movie, identify with the fellows there, it's my freedom. If I want to remain conscious that I am the enjoyer sitting in the auditorium, I can remain conscious of myself. So the existence of any objects outside is not necessarily responsible for my forgetfulness. It's all about my priorities and my freedom. So let there be any objects outside, let there be any thoughts inside. So what? Now you are an awakened one. You know who is the Sakshi. You know who is the existence. So thus, this is called freedom. And now you are free even whether eyes open or eyes closed. You are not disturbed by anything whatsoever. If there is a meditation which is only dependent on your, closing the eyes, then opening the eyes will be such a problem. Oh God, again I have to open my eyes today. In case if keeping quiet is the door to freedom, then the moment you have an opportunity that you have to talk to somebody, it's a problem. If absence of interaction with others is freedom, the moment you are compelled by any situation to interact with others, you have a problem now. I don't feel like, let me be at peace with myself. That peace is so fragile. It can be broken by opening the eyes, it can be broken by interaction, it can be broken by some guests, it can be broken by some sound. Don't go after such a fragile Shanti. Go after this wisdom, wherein none of the objects outside, none of the thoughts, none of the forms, none of the presentations, nothing affects me because I am that. It is this knowledge which matters, not the presence and absence of any impediments. Now there are no impediments for me. So this is liberation. Otherwise, a person who is, by the way, dependent on his pranayama for knowledge. Just imagine a suffering in case a fellow gets common cold. My common cold, my sardi and jukham, it has taken away my bliss today. What a fragile bliss you have. What a fragile freedom you have. See through all these games. And don't hang on to such conveniences. Break all the shackles. Remain unaffected by anything. It is you, it is your own self. You don't have to, do anything or nothing can affect you. Does anything affect the sun? Whether things are good or bad, sun is sun. So also I am that. What's the big deal in case the body is there or the body is not there? What is the big deal in case the world is there and the world is not there? I'm still the sun. What's the big deal if thoughts are there or thoughts are not there? If the sounds are there or sounds are not there? In case if the sounds are there, I can take off from there. Sound and the drishta, and this is the drishya. And drishta is this, and that is this, and this is that. Here I am. Take off. Every object is a runway for me now. Every sound is a runway for me now to take off in a different realm altogether. It's only the childish ones, the ignorant ones who are hanging on to some objects for joy and for bliss. Stupid fellows, ignorant fools, childish mentality, delusory existence, pathetic life, dependent on things outside, and they consider themselves to be smart and blessed. Oh, bless me, Swamiji, I've got this, getting married. Bless me. Yes, you need all the blessings. I know that. I've seen people going through all that. Now I've got a job. Please bless me. In case if you're dependent, then you do need a lot of blessings. If you're a petty, small fellow dependent on this and that, that's such a pathetic existence you have. Even if you do something, if you don't do anything, still, it's such a frustrating, choking existence. See through all these games and liberate yourself. In fact, the text ends here itself. The last is a quotation from Upanishad to validate this. The last shloka is the mantra from Mundaka Upanishad. And it says that Vidyate Hridaya Granthi Chidyante Sarva Samshayaha Kshiyante Chasya Karmani Tasmin Drishte Paravare. Tasmin Drishte Paravare. Anyone who wakes up to the reality of the truth of para and avar, the real and the non-real, the truth and the untruth. Para is the truth and avar is the untruth. Para and avar, paravare. So that which is the truth of the self and the not self, the nitya and the anitya, the chetan and the jad, the Brahma and the Maya. Anyone who sees the truth of these things gets profoundly blessed, not otherwise. And what are the blessings? He just names 3 profound blessings of the knowledge of self. The Brahma Gyan. The first is that all the knots inside your heart, they are cleared off. Vidyate Hridaya Granthi. There are endless knots in our personality, in our minds, in our hearts. I'm small, I want this, I want that. We continue to be a small fellow. The smallness itself is the cause of all infinite desires. So that disappears with this knowledge. Endless doubts and questions. Questions, they are important for you to slowly appreciate any truth. All our scriptures are in the form of question answers. But they need to be resolved at some time. And it is only when you realize the truth of yourself and the creation that there is an end to all questions. If you do not realize this, then the questions are never ending. You resolve one question, you have another problem. This question, another problem. You'll be blessed in case if you have some company where you can resolve questions. Otherwise it endlessly goes on. Your life is, at some time it will end, yet you have so many things to resolve, so many things to sort out, so many things to answer. I'm undertaking that course and this motivational course, this meditation course and that yoga course and this bhakti course. Still I have to, sort out so many things. This will carry on till the time you wake up to the truth of Par and Avar. And of course, the third benefit is Kshiyante Chasya Karmani. Look at the cycle of karma. While we feel blessed that we have got an opportunity to do karma, man alone, human beings alone, they can do karma, create karma, do something new. But karma is an endless cycle. Whatever karma you did in the past, because of that this present life is. My present is a consequence of my past. And my future will be a result of my present. And it's got to be there. There is no going away from this cycle. So one birth, I exhaust the earlier karmas but accumulate new karmas. And once you have accumulated new karmas, you've got to have another birth. And in that new birth, hopefully you exhaust the earlier karma. That's a big question mark also. We know that there are so many desires in the mind. I have not yet really fulfilled all the desires. Still have some lingering ones in my mind. All the desires are never fulfilled. So they carry on. And in the process, I've gathered some new aspirations also. Now, in case there are aspirations and dreams and earlier lingering thoughts also, now you are ready for the next life. A new innings has got to start. And this is the cyclic, rotation of karma and the birth and death. And you cannot say, now I don't want. It's not about wanting or not wanting. If you are still a jiva, you will have to do it. You'll be compelled to do it. You cannot rid yourself from all the situations. Even if your body is not well, you'll have to hang on to it. It's a karma. And this body, by the time it ends, the next one is ready, and again, in the lap of your parents, again you start a new inning and the same chapter starts. It's an endless thing. Have you ever wondered where this karma cycle is going to end? It's an endless thing. So there's only one way, and that is Brahmagyan. Kshiyante Chasya Karmani. This is the amazing result. That you don't have to go anywhere. Your shopping list is over. Because you're fulfilled. It's only when we are fulfilled that our karmas get over. Anything happens or doesn't happen, you're not affected by that. Kshiyante Chasya Karmani. So, Bhidyate Hriday Granthi, the knots inside the heart, they are all washed off, effaced. Chindyante Sarva Samshaya, all the doubts, all the ignorance is cleared off. And the endless cycle of karma is brought to an end. And that is the beauty, the benefit, the fruit of this knowledge. So, you are blessed enough to get this knowledge. Now you've got a guidance, what to do, how to do. And then after it has to be the ball is in my court now. revel in this knowledge, enjoy this knowledge, make this knowledge your own, and truly become a healthy, satisfied, fulfilled person. It is this knowledge alone for which you have taken up this human life. It's not about doing something outside. Which anyway God is doing. Anyway the world will continue without us. Nothing is going to stop. So don't worry. That's not the real agenda. That's not the real objective of life. But to awake to the reality. Not only you and me, but let everyone in the world become enlightened. We need to create a world in which right wisdom is given to everyone. So with this beautiful text, it comes to an end. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti
Shanti.
Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.